Good morning. Well, good morning from here. Good evening to you.
Yeah, it's good evening this side.
Yeah. What is it? What are you at? Like 8:30 p.m.?
Nah, it's actually 4:30 in the afternoon.
At 4:30 in the afternoon. Okay. Yeah, it's 9:30 in the morning here. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm great.
Great. First, how do I pronounce your name?
Which one?
Which one do you prefer for me to call you by in conversation?
Well, thing is, on all my social platforms, I'm referred to as Pablo.
Pablo. I call you by your, I'm going to tag your name in the release, your Instagram handle, but I can call you by the name that you prefer being called by during the conversation.
Okay. You could say, okay, you can call me Nayo. That's simpler to pronounce.
You said Nayo?
Yes.
So I'm pronouncing your name Nayo.
Yes.
All right, got you. I'm Will, by the way. Nice to meet you.
You're?
Will.
Oh, okay.
You didn't know my name?
Well,
It's cool. It's cool. Just tell the truth. Look, in these conversations, all we do is tell our truths. Be unapologetically ourselves. Welcome to the Chronically Will Podcast, where we have real conversations with community that need to be heard. On today's episode, I'm taking a journey across seas to South Africa to meet with Nayo. Nayo is someone, you are probably the most recent person I've met in the diabetic online community, even though I meet people like regularly. But I don't even know where I found you. I'd be like fishing in the diabetic online community and just be luring people in. But I'm happy that I did find you because after viewing your profile, Bernard, I said she's someone that the community truly needs to know. And again, I thank you for joining me on this journey that is the Chronically Will podcast. Could you, Nayo, give our community a summary of who you are?
okay. I am Nayo, all the way from South Africa. I am a person living with type 1 diabetes. 6 years running. I was diagnosed when I was 15. I recently, there's an organization I'm part of. We are advocates in South Africa because it's the first of its ever kind. So we're just trying to spread awareness and let people know. And it's very rare for like young people my age to do this because the people assume it's like a condition for like the elderly or something. Some don't even know about it at all. So I just thought since my platform is available, I'd use it for the good.
Yes, and this is the good. Just to let you know off top, Nayo, I think I've recorded with maybe 5 people from South Africa already. Where are you from in South Africa?
Actually all the way from the Freestate.
Freestate.
Yeah.
Freestate. I recorded with someone from Freestate last spring. I can't remember her name. MSEGO. That's her Instagram handle. MSEGO.
I'm gonna have to check her out because there's not a lot of people that
she's from
interact
Freestate,
this
and
side.
she's young. Like I think she's 19. Yeah, that episode was released, I believe, in like August or September. Just last week, I recorded with a guy named Earl. I don't know if you know Earl. There's a release. I have an episode releasing next week with someone I recorded with from South Africa also. I've recorded with so many people, I can't recall these names. I will have to look them up. But I'm going to share with you who they are because I actually created a South African Instagram group because I had so many people from South Africa asking me like about other people in South Africa living with type 1 diabetes. And I said, y'all need a community, your own space. And I
because
created
we
that.
really don't have it. We really don't have it.
Right. You said you were diagnosed 6 years ago.
Yes.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
And you're 21 now?
Yes.
15. That's a hard year for adolescence. Like, yeah, you're maturing and you were still in your young teen years, but maturing into an adult. And you already had a lot of roles and responsibilities you had to take on at that age. But then here comes the big diabetes gifter and unwrapped a present for you that you never asked for.
And it's because like it was the first time I've ever heard of it. That's why it was so shocking, like that it exists, because I literally felt like I was the only person with this condition. And even when the doctor was trying to explain, I just thought, oh my God, nobody knows what to do with me. I don't know what to do with me. I have to change my lifestyle, learn things fresh. It was crazy.
It is crazy. I remember my own diagnosis and it was crazy also. Like nothing about living with diabetes is normal when you've lived a life.
A normal life.
Yes, yes. So that diagnosis changed who you were as a person. Like literally, like you went from a 14, 15-year-old girl going out, doing whatever you did, having fun, enjoying life, to now knowing that I have to take insulin with me. I have to administer insulin.
Yeah. And you know what was crazier for me was the whole change was like, I really took for granted that I could eat anything at any time. And now I have to be really careful. You can't make such mistakes anymore.
Right. But do you occasionally make those mistakes?
Well, I am
Look,
human. So.
They're not mistakes because we know today, I mean, when we're first diagnosed, we think diabetes means something with food. We know today that it's so much more than just food. Like food is just a variable in it. Like diabetes affects us even without food.
Yeah.
Like it affects us when we sleep more than anything.
Like you'll sleep with the perfect reading and just wake up on some like, did I wake up at night? What went wrong during the night?
Right. And then we have like what I consider lucid dreams, where there's these dreams where we're like, we're visualizing we're one place doing like something crazy or whatnot. And usually that's from like suffering from like a hypo or a hyper during the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, the systems are great. Like I use the sensor right now. That's been doing wonders for me. I know I don't even have to fuss anymore. I know the alarms go crazy.
Are you using Libre?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if Dexcom is available in South Africa yet.
I have not seen anyone with a Dexcom this side, actually.
Okay, because most people that I know in South Africa do use Libre. And everyone I know in India, because I've recorded with 7 people from India, everyone there that uses a CGM uses Libre also. Being diagnosed at 15 years young and already having this community, family, friends, people who loved you around you. When you got this diagnosis, did you at any point like see a change in their behavior towards you?
Oh yeah, and no, everyone really thought I was like dying or something because I'd lost so much weight. They were like, "Oh my gosh, she's perishing," you know, because we didn't have information about it as such. So it's in a way now when you're in a setting, people are afraid to give you food. Some people are afraid to touch you. People are afraid to interact with you. They think they might harm you. It's insane. So it's very important to constantly. That's why I had to learn so that I can educate them to take it easy. It's actually very normal, more than they think.
Right. You became the teacher at 15 years. No,
I had to.
6 years into this, you got like a master's degree. And we know diabetes is forever changing. It's never the same. Even though even if you feel as though like you've mastered the craft of your own diabetes, here comes another variable, another hormonal change, change in insulin, change your routine, whether it's like work, school, and those are all, they all affect you living with diabetes.
They really do, because I was so sure that, okay, after my matric, I've mastered it and I understand it now. And then now I had to go to tertiary, not varsity and stuff. And my insulin was just not treating me the same anymore. And I'm thinking maybe I'm doing something wrong. And I just had to just switch, because now my schedule is not the same anymore. I study later at night than in the morning. I'm more active at different times. So now I have to start deciding on whether I want to, because I use different insulins. So there's my long active, which is my Nova Rapid, and there's my fast acting, which is which one's the orange one? Nova Rapid, yes.
Nova Rapid is your short acting.
My Tresiba. No, my Tresiba is my long active.
Long acting.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I had to swap from that. I used it in the morning instead of at night, because I'm active more in the day.
That's something that people not living with type 1 diabetes understand. They have no clue about our use with insulin. Like that, depending on our lifestyle, when we use it, how much we use it. Like for most people, that look like, oh, you take insulin. Oh, they think of it like it's a Band-Aid. Like, oh, it fixed it. It's the cure. When we know it's not. Like the insulin that we administer to keep us alive can equally lead to our demise if we take too much. And that can be from
someone asked me the other day, it's like, okay, so can't you like just choose to take something else? Well, it's not really a choice, and it's difficult to make them understand, because they can only resonate up to so far until they're in that position themselves.
Right. Until they're in that position themselves. And even if I don't have any enemies, I don't know if you do, but even look, you smile, you're young. Even our worst enemies, we would not wish this on.
For real.
Like, I don't know anyone who could handle this, except for the people living with it.
No one is ever really prepared. Like, people was like, yo, bro, I would have died. I'm like, well, no. I thought so too, but like, I really never thought I'd make it to 21. At that point, I was like, you know what? I think this is God saying He wants me now, because there's no way. But then it just got easier. I keep telling people that you think you can't handle it, but it's not that hard once you're in that position, because you need to learn how to survive.
You need to learn how to survive. Yes. Tell us about that. Needing to learn how to survive, because most people without any chronic health condition, they live like survival to them means like not dying at all. Like, oh, I gotta go find food. I gotta find something to drink. But survival to us is so much more. Like there's little tiny steps to surviving.
Like, for example, let me put in a scenario where I'm having a hypo. Most people would assume I'm hungry, and they would overtreat it with like, and sometimes you just need this little amount to survive. You don't have to do anything drastic. But in their eyes, it's like, then you weren't really like in danger, but they don't understand the severity of the situation at the time.
Right. They will never understand the severity, like you said, unless they live with it, or they're the caregiver of, let's say, a child that's living with it. And still at that, you don't truly understand the inner workings of it, like how it affects you mentally and physically. But I tried to share with people previously about like you living with type 1 diabetes. Your type 1 diabetes isn't the same as mine. Let's say I take upwards of 60 units of insulin total per day. You may only take 20. And to the person who doesn't know about diabetes, they'll look at that like, why do you take so much insulin? Or why does she take so little insulin? We take what we need.
Right. Like it's similar with me explaining how I eat. Someone was like, are you going to be full with that meal? No, this is all I need for now.
Mm-hmm.
I will need something else later. But for now, this is just enough.
Right.
And I think that's what they don't understand. It's not, you can't have the freedom of choosing to eat whatever you want to eat anymore like you used to. It's not that easy. You don't just eat anything at any time. You need to think. You need to do some. I have a carb counting system. So people just get shocked when I'm just like, you know what? After these 2 slices of bread, I'm going to inject this much amount of insulin and it'll be enough for just this meal. So now it just kind of sounds like you like injecting yourself this many times. I'm like, no, it's the procedure. You inject yourself 3 times a day for your 3 meals.
And they look at it like you said, can't you do an alternative thing? Like, what's the alternative? Because even if you didn't eat, you would still need to inject insulin. And they don't understand that.
Beyond just the diet. It's beyond so much more than just eating.
Right. Insulin is a hormone that's in our bodies, not our bodies, but in everyone else's bodies and non-diabetics' bodies. And that insulin hormone reacts to so many different things, such as stress, temperature, environmental situations, food, exercise. Like, we can't cut hours off and on.
Now, it's like when I first got diagnosed, my mother used to get so frustrated with me because we could not exactly understand. Sometimes you'd be doing all the right things, like getting enough exercise, eating the right things, and somehow and then I got a dietitian to explain to me that there's a lot that goes into it. Maybe something upset you, and remember that how you feel does affect how your glucose will read at times. Or maybe it's how much of what you ate instead of what you ate. There's a concept that only we will pay attention to because we understand how important it is. But for some people, it's like the minor things in life.
Right. The minor things in life are truly what keep us alive. They're like, I'm going to eat a cookie. And you're like, I'll drink this water right now. Maybe I'll eat the cookie later. Or they'll be like, let's go for a walk or a bike ride or something. And you're like, you really want to do it? And it's at times it's like, it may become hard for you to tell people and explain to them, like, I cannot do that right now. Cause they're like, she's always saying she can't do this. He's always saying he can't do this. But literally, I cannot do this right now. Like, I used to try to equate it to someone who needs an inhaler, but I can't because an inhaler isn't used all the time. It's used like when energy is induced or you're in certain toxic climates or situations, pollution, different things. But with insulin, we need it 24/7, even more than 24/7. We need it nonstop. Without this insulin, we wouldn't be here.
Real. And I think, mentioning that sometimes it's very difficult to explain to people. I think that's one of the things that were very hard for me when I got diagnosed in the beginning, because now I have to explain to my peers that this is the change that I'm going through. And I can't do the things that I used to be able to do anymore with you guys. Or maybe I'll have to do less of it instead of constantly like I used to. So it becomes difficult because I myself don't understand the condition at the time. So how am I now supposed to explain this to my peers? Especially, it was really unbelievable. Like, people just thought it was a shock. In African countries, let me speak specifically to South Africa, they think it's taboo. They think, no, you know what? There's this witchcraft going on. Someone hates your family. Someone has something against you. They don't really want to believe the concept that these things exist because it's so rare in Black communities, my side.
And they prayed over you, didn't they? Didn't they? I know.
They lack the understanding. So now you have to constantly explain to people that still believe in these norms that I can't do that. I can't operate one in a certain way. Not because I don't want to, but because physically I'm not capable like I used to. But this does not now mean I'm not a normal kid like every other child. I'm just specifically supposed to adhere to certain rules to accommodate my body.
Mm-hmm. Certain rules to accommodate your body, because we know living with diabetes is not a cookie cutter approach, meaning it's not one size fits all. Like there's no fix. There's a remedy, but there's no fix. I wanted to ask you, because you didn't mention about when you were diagnosed. Could you share with me your diagnosis story?
When I was first diagnosed, I felt kind of like I had flu symptoms, but I was just losing too much weight. So I'm thinking maybe it's the stress from the exams, it's a different grade. But then I went to the doctor like a couple of times before, like twice maybe. And then now I just felt like, what, maybe it's deeper than just flu. So I'm thinking they should just test for everything at this point. But no one thought to ever test for diabetes because they just didn't think this would happen to a child. Mind you, this is my general practitioner. I go there almost all the time. And they never do these things. So I'm thinking even when we spoke and we discovered that it was diabetes, they were just shocked because how does this happen to a child? But I'm like, but they're doctors. They should think of such things and all. But the situation was because they're familiar with me, they just never thought it would happen to me. And I think that's kind of insane because it doesn't choose who it can happen to. It happens. So
Right.
I think if maybe our medical systems could like make it a norm, it should not just be considered something adults could have, because clearly I'm evidence that it's very normal in children as well.
Right. Anyone at any age can be diagnosed.
Yeah.
I've met people who were diagnosed at 3 months. I've met people that were diagnosed at 70 years, and their type 1 diabetes is the same. I know for the most part around the world, when they hear the term diabetes, people are like, ugh, like diabetes, like old, unhealthy. But we're changing that narrative. And we have to keep on doing it. Keep our foot on the gas, never release from that brake pedal, and let them know that it can happen to anyone. And
Anyone.
there's signs and symptoms that you should be aware of. Now, do you remember, like, even before your diagnosis and that those flu-like symptoms, do you think that you were experiencing like an onset of it?
I really think now that I have knowledge about it, I'm like, how did we miss this? Like, how do we not see this? I'm one person who does not drink water. Well, now I do, but like back then, water was just a different story for me. So now I'm constantly thirsty, and I don't even want to drink the things I usually drink. I just specifically want water. And I don't sleep. I'd rather watch with my free time at the time, watch television, play games, go play with my friends. That was it. So now I was just always constantly tired. And I'm like looking back, I'm thinking nobody saw this because nobody knew about it. Nobody understood what it was. And I think maybe we could have discovered it earlier, even if the message was out there, like other conditions, your HIV and AIDS and your tuberculosis. Because people know so much about it, it's easier to diagnose people, even yourself as someone who doesn't have the condition. You're like, I think you're showing symptoms of such and such. But because it's not out there, this is why I'm trying to, as much as I can, just word it out. Some people even started saying, since you've been diagnosed, all you really talk about is this. Because now that I've seen it, I think other people can also be of aid to their family members, possibly to just anyone, really.
Right. The reason why we continuously talk about it and speak about it is because it's a continuous thing. Because people, they think health, chronic health, things like they think, oh, it's like a light switch you can turn off and turn on. Like, it's not like that living with type 1 diabetes at all. Like, it's ongoing. Like right now, as we are having this conversation, our blood sugar is, yeah, like there's adrenaline, there's anxiety, there's so many different factors that are going into it. And you can't think of like other things where like adrenaline, anxiety, just the climate, the weather, like the air, like those things affect someone's health. But with diabetes, there's an insurmountable amount of variables. Like you mentioned, your peers, trying to get them like to understand what it is with you living with diabetes, especially like when you were first diagnosed. Um, I was diagnosed at 20 years old, so I was a young man. Like you at 15 in high school, around your peers, your group all the time, and then you go into a hospital, get care, and then you come back. I'm wondering first, like, was there talk in the school, in the town, in the community about how Nayo almost died? Some people might have been like, Nayo did die and she came back, and like these different things. Like,
Because I was bigger. I was like a chubby kid. And I came back and I was like, real thin. They're like, because it was COVID at the time. So they're like, damn, maybe she had COVID and this is what happened to her. So now everyone's kind of scared. Like, damn, bro. So this is what COVID does to people. I'm like, it's not COVID, bro. It's not COVID. That's not what happened. So now it sounds like, you're making up a story because now I'm trying to explain that, like, nah, that don't exist. We've never heard of anyone with such a condition. And I'm like, it was so hard to try and explain yourself all the time to a point where I was private about it. I explained it to a few people and the way they reacted, I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to have the energy to do this with everyone. So to a point, even when I first got my sensor, I used to plug it from the inside so no one would see it. So even when I'm in short things, no one could really see where it was. And if anyone was to ask me, I remember I would have to inject in the bathroom because physically injecting in front of people and getting those questions and some people thought I was taking drugs, and I'm like, at school, really? Why would I do that?
right. The main reason that I create this podcast is so that people will be able to not only tell their story, but we repeatedly have to tell people what type 1 diabetes is. It's like, and we get tired of that. Like, even family members, like I've told you so many times, friends, I've told you, I've shared things. You see my social media, different, like, I'm done sharing it because so the main reason I created this platform for us is so that once it's done and complete and it's out there, all you got to do is send someone a link. Send them a link. If they click on that link, they will know more than anything you've ever been able to tell them.
I think for some people, it's just they have their own understanding of what diabetes is. Mm-hmm. So when you try to explain it, it just doesn't make sense because they have an understanding that this is what specifically refers to diabetes. I'm like, there's a difference. There's type 2, there's type 1. You have family members still asking me till this day when I'm like, I need to drink water. I think my glucose is going high. They're like, no. So what do you do now? You have to eat more? Ma'am?
And next time, just share this to them. Just share this with them next time. Right. That gives me a good transition. Has diabetes affected you in relationships, whether it's significant others, friends, family, partners? Has it affected you? Or has it affected relationships you've been involved in?
It does, but I do try to inform whoever that wants to initiate anything with me has to know beforehand that this is what they have to expect. And unfortunately, now they have to adopt my lifestyle as well because in situations where I can't help myself, they have to know what to do. And I think this is, on my part, I don't want to feel like I'm burdening anybody. So I do distance myself from a lot of things like relationships. Maybe someday it'll make sense to someone, but I also don't think that people do things willingly. So whoever is willing to understand that person will be with that person.
They will. If they want to be with that
person. With friends, I have a very great supportive group. And I've been friends with these people for so long, but again, everything is a choice. They chose to learn and understand me so they can go through this journey with me. Sometimes I'll be chilling there and we'll be discussing, and then they'll see me like take a bite of something, and I'm like, oh my God, I got so excited and caught up in everything. I forgot to inject. So they'll be there like, bro, did you? So it's always good to have such people around you.
Right. That accountability does matter. Yeah, those friends get you. Those partners, future relationships, they will get you. I don't know if they'll get you as much as your friends, but that's like one of the things on the list. Like you got to check off, like at the beginning, like, oh, he saw me pull out my insulin and did this crazy stare. Check him off. Like he might as well walk out the door, right? Turn back around. Since your diagnosis, have you had any fears of living with diabetes? Because we know before our diagnosis, we hear so many stories about the complications, the removal of limbs and all of those things, eyesight, retinopathy. Like we hear of those things. Do you have any fears today?
I think to date, I don't have those fears, but it's just that feeling of when you're sleeping, you just start feeling weird and like, so automatically I love that my body will tell me that something is wrong. I don't randomly wake up, but I'll randomly wake up and I'll just feel like, what didn't I do? And then you'll check your glucose and find out, damn, it's like 2 point something. So you need to eat. You need to do something quickly. So I was worried in the beginning because I didn't know much about it. But at this point, I think I'm prepared for a lot of things and I know how to avoid getting in situations of the stories that I hear, because I do understand that my life is literally in my hands 24/7.
24/7. I say nonstop. Because I think 24/7 gives a chance to breathe. With diabetes, sometimes you won't get no chances to breathe. Because I mean, really, like you said in the beginning, like there's so many things that are misunderstood about it. Like people just really have zero education in it, other than what they heard or what they saw from someone else. It's not like, okay, Nayo has a cough. Will has a cough. They got the same cough. They take the same medicine. It's not like that. So, and that's what people think. Like, there's so many things misunderstood. Like, even like you said, like when you were diagnosed, people really like thinking they can pray over you and it'll go away. Like, I know
But like,
culturally,
some people thought it was infectious. Someone was like, "Hey, bro, touch her, you go." I'm like, "No, you're not. No, you're not."
you were the diabetes zombie for a minute. Yeah.
But like, what's really scary is that it doesn't stop, because when it doesn't matter, you're stressed about work, it could be school. Like, even in that stress, you have to now stress about it as well, because you stressing is affecting your diabetes.
Mm-hmm. Right. I want to know, like, when you were diagnosed and over these years, has it like affected, or have you had a chance to sit down and have like a conversation with like your family, like parents, about you and this diagnosis? Because I know it was traumatic for you. But I know that parents, like true parents that are involved in their children's lives, like it affects them also. And a lot of people don't get a chance to sit down and have that conversation to unwrap their parents' feelings and emotions of your own diagnosis. Because it's truly like it's like a new birth. Like this child was not like this before, but now they're living with diabetes, and any little thing can harm or hurt them. It's like an infant.
For me, my parents, it almost felt like they were the ones that were diagnosed. They were freaking out. I remember in the beginning, my mom used to buy different sets of groceries. Like, this is your food. You don't touch this food because you're going to die. I'm like, that's not what the doctor said. It's like, no, but if you eat this, I'm like, I'm not going to die. I can eat normal food, just at a different rate, at a different time. I prepare it differently, not like I used to before. I had to change because I am the one that usually cooks at home. So now I can't cook like I used to cook before. We'd make like, you're like the feast kind of thing, but like I can't eat like that. I can still eat the food, but I can't eat the same way you eat. And the way they reacted
those big helpings.
Yeah. And
I remember those days. Look, it's making my stomach like, you remember that? Like filling your plate with everything and going back and getting more.
It gave me so much discipline. I don't know. Sometimes I do say it's a blessing in disguise.
Yes.
I remember I used to eat till I felt my stomach hurt. But now I can literally sit and look at someone eat and finish their plate and not feel like I'm hungry. It's like, I'm okay. I don't need that. I'll be fine. Or sometimes you just ate and you'll smell like really good food and you're like, I already had my meal. I'll just have my water. So it gave me a different level of discipline, not just in terms of my diet, in every aspect in life, really. I just thought of, because now this is how I live, it impacted every other thing. So it gave me that discipline everywhere, from my books to, I just now knew that I needed to be particular with certain things and prioritize certain things, because the end goal is to live.
Yes.
I need to live.
That's one of my sayings I say to people. Like life, the ultimate goal in life is to live. Like that's one thing I say to people all the time, man. I gotta knock on wood for that because you just said it, and that is it. To live, not just be alive, like survival, but trying to enjoy this thing called life, because we only get this one. And living with type 1 diabetes today, like we're more inclined with our health and our well-being, right? Like, I don't know what the weather is right now in Freestate, but you have on a halter top. Like,
no, it is cold outside, but it's just warm inside.
Look, I was like, but you look fit and strong. Like you can go lift up a building right now. Like, more inclined with your health, and like you did mention earlier, it's like, and I don't like to say this, but you said it. You were like, I was a little chubby before, but today, don't you consider yourself like more inclined with your health and well-being than others, like non-diabetics?
I have to. I kind of have to.
Right. But
everything is a choice. It's a choice. I think everything's a choice. But being in this position now, it gave me a broader kind of aspect on how to look at things now, because initially you never really think about these things until now you're in the position where you have to. Like I used to tell people, I never used to think about what I'd do in the next coming years or how I'd enjoy something in a certain way, but now you do. And I always say to people, because you choose to live, everyone who is diabetic has the choice to take care of themselves, and they choose to live. So I don't want to experience life in fear. I want to experience all the great things that life has to offer me, even in the midst of whatever.
Right. And we don't want to, we need to understand this diagnosis and not just settle, because some people, you live certain lifestyles where they just settle with the diagnosis and like, oh, that means I'm going to lose my limbs and whatever, like as I age and grow older. But we know today people living with type 1 diabetes can live as long, if not even longer, than people without it, because our whole mindset has changed to a point where we know we have to do these things to stay well. And well meaning like to be able to have the ability to do other things. Like you're a young woman. Someday you may want to start a family. You know that you have
that is scary. That I forgot to
you have to do those things like now, like to prepare for that. Where someone else can be like 25 and be like, I'm gonna go have a baby. You can't Right, you can't do that. You got to prepare for that. Like, I got to bring that A1C down. And, like,
my body has to be prepared to be in that state.
And then mentally.
But, I don't think God gives us hurdles that we cannot conquer. I always say to other diabetics that approach me, like, if this was for everyone, then everybody would be diabetic. But God chooses his best and greatest soldiers to fight his battles. I think because the people with diabetes really can handle it. I don't think even those that struggle, they do understand that they need to do certain things to survive. And that's instinct. That's something you learn to do for yourself to protect yourself.
Do you think being a type 1 diabetic for the last 6 years has turned you into more of a advocate? Because even in this conversation, we're just having an organic conversation. The entirety of it, you're advocating. You're advocating for people to understand diabetes, understand their health, understand their lives, how it's not just to live like you want to live, understand the mental and emotional challenges. You just spoke briefly about like procreating, having children, you advocating in relationships, like, and I can tell when you speak about these things, like, and you include diabetes in it, like, you're like this is your thing. Like you said, some friends are like, she always talk about diabetes. Like, this is your thing. This is our thing. Like, where else can we have these conversations with our people?
Yeah.
Like,
thing is with me, because I never used to speak about it, I really did not want people to know, because now it got annoying. Explaining the same thing over and over to different people that don't want to understand, that have their own perception of things. It becomes difficult. But I did see what other advocates were doing for me, because they kind of got me out of my shell. I was like, you know what? And they weren't really that popular on social media, but just seeing their content made me feel like maybe I could do this for other people as well. I just liked the way they made me feel about myself, knowing that I'm not alone. There are other people living with this. They're doing just great. I can do fine as well.
Right. It was like a game of tag. Like,
yeah.
They were doing it. You saw them running around, and like, I don't play tag much, but it looked fun. And once they tagged you in, look at you now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, diabetes to many is like it's almost like a fashion statement, where you're like, people hear and like, I'm not wearing that. I don't want to wear that. Diabetes, that's that. Why would anybody want to wear diabetes? But then someone comes out wearing diabetes like us, looking normal, legit, can have conversations, like, and people want to, like, we all right, right? Like, we all right. We those type of people, like, and people like, yeah, I can wear diabetes on my sleeve now.
Yeah.
Right.
Even the other day, this lady said to me, like, you don't look sick. Yes, that is the whole point. I don't want to look sick. I don't think anybody wants to walk around looking sick.
Right. You've gained, well, I'm sure you've always been a confident person. Do you think you've gained more confidence because you are able to be in control more of who you are in your life?
I do think so, because like I said earlier, I don't think this would have just located me. I always say things happen for a reason in life. And the way I think, the way I act, the way I approach things now is based off of this condition. Without this, I don't think I would have been shaped into the person that I am today. So it did really build a lot of my confidence, because now, I mean, I am diabetic. What you gonna do? What am I gonna do? I can't change it.
I love that personality. Like you said, I am diabetic. What you gonna do? I can't change this. Like, if I could, I would, but not right now. Like, it's not like a mask or a cape, or like I can't take it
Yeah,
off.
you can't take it off at night.
Yeah, I wish I could take it off at night. I could wear it all day during the day. If I could take
Yeah,
diabetes
sometimes I just
off
gotta
during the
sleep.
night,
I really just want to sleep sometimes.
right? And people don't understand that. Like when you be like, and I think it's more so because a lot of people say like, I work so hard, I don't get no sleep. I'm this, I'm that. I don't need no sleep. I'm all right. I'm restless. But then you'll see them like laying out on a couch or something, relaxing, and you in your head, you're like, they don't get it. When I talk about no sleep, I really mean no sleep. Like my blood sugar is going low or going high. My CGM is like alerting me. I gotta inject insulin. I got too much insulin in me. I can't go to sleep. Like they don't
Yeah.
understand that
But
how
till this day, I gotta be honest. Till this day, I don't do visits. I don't like visiting people. I feel like I don't want to disrupt people in their homes. My alarm will ring. Okay, it doesn't even have. Sometimes it's a false low. Okay,
Mhm.
like it's almost low, but it's not low. But my phone is worried about me, so it's gotta wake me up. But now I'm also waking people up in their homes. So I don't visit people. I'm really just to myself like that.
Look, I used to have that I guess mindset. Like I used to think about that. Like my diabetes is annoying other people, messing up their peace. But then I said, I need to protect my peace. Um, this this technology is alerting me so that I can stay at my best. Like I gotta think about me first. I understand that these people are annoyed with it, but hopefully that they can get it can become normal to them. Like we know Nayo, Will, like we know they got their beeps and clicks and alarms and alerts. They're annoying as hell, but we know that they keep them alive. We know. Like I had posted something probably like 6 or 7 months ago, and I said, some days I feel as though we should just keep all of our alerts and alarms on. I said maybe then people who don't live with this will get a better understanding of what it is. Like they'll know that it's nonstop. Like even like during the conversation right here, like me and you both, we know we got our alarms off, our alerts off, because we don't want it to interrupt the conversation.
Yeah.
But just imagine we were in a conversation with a group of people who don't have diabetes, and it's me and you in there, and they were to hear those alerts and alarms. They're looking around like, what's going on? Like, and I think that sometimes people need to have that connection with us, so they know that when we say we're tired, it's
We
because
really are tired.
we really are tired. When we say we need insulin right now, we really do. When we say we need some juice or a snack right now, we really do. And
Because they effortlessly speak. People effortlessly see like, now you'll inject when you get home. I'm like, no, by then it'll be too late. By then it'll be too late. Or like I think they don't understand the sense of urgency as well. Like when I say I need a juice box right now, I cannot have it in the next hour because we don't know if I will be by the next hour. So I need to have it now.
Move fast. And they're probably thinking like, oh, they'll need a juice box. They're probably in their head thinking of like a toddler, like a 2-year-old. Like, yeah, 2-year-old whines for the juice box, but I can
Like,
take
why are
my
you being
time.
impatient? Why are you being
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, I can take my time and get her the juice box. Like, nah, right now. Like, you don't want to see the heart come out.
no, because really I'm just like, this right now, me freaking out is nothing. If you don't give it to me now, you're going to shock yourself because you're the one that's gonna be in trauma. I'm used to this. You are the one who's going to be frustrated by what you're seeing.
Yes, that let's speak on that. That traumatization, that traumatic experience of someone seeing you suffer from a low, going into the body, shocks, the shakes uncontrollably, not being able to get your words out. And there's nothing they can do but give you that fast acting glucose, juice, sugar that they should have already given you. But if I know I've experienced people who saw me like go through those experiences over the years, and that put a fear in them.
It kind of makes me mad though, because you just could have given me my juice box. We wouldn't be here right now.
Adjust a juice box. They gotta treat us like babies sometimes. Like
it's
seriously.
really that simple. It's like
it is. It is. But you know, part of human nature, they gotta question everything. People have to question everything. Like, you know, if someone, well, not specifically us, but if we didn't have diabetes, maybe if someone were to tell you like, I need a juice box, you look at them like, what? Like, you need a juice box? What do you need a juice box for? You would question that. But they know that we live.
I try to calm people down more than they should be trying to be of aid to me. I'm in that position. Now they're so scared. They don't know what to do. I'm just like, I swear, you don't need no hospital. Just get me the juice box. So I'm just like, relax. Like, you're shaking. I'm like, I know, but you need to relax. Just get me the juice box.
The juice box. Oh my gosh. I got to title this.
And
just get me this. Look, I just have to title this. Just get me the juice box. I'm writing it down.
Like,
because people need to know. And that's so funny. I'm going to get a shirt made that says that. Just get me the juice box.
And you know, that's one thing I've been trying to actually establish. We don't have merchant. I see so much in other countries and what they're doing for each other in solidarity. They have shirts, they have groups. My side, it's just really more of those that do speak about it, speak so little about it because people always have something to say. A lot of people will just say things like, no, they're just seeking attention, but it's a reality for some people. They're not sharing this to look cool. It's because they really live this life. So they're kind of held back. Like, they'll want to speak about it, but they'll be in the shadows. So it's not really getting the message across the way it should.
Right. And it may take more people coming together to do it, like you said. I just remembered the young lady who I mentioned in the introduction. Her name is Melissa. She's from Freestate, Melissa. Yeah, I think she's 19. But when we get off, I'll send you her Instagram handle because I think y'all should make a connection because she's big into like fashion and stuff and advocacy she wants to get into. And a lot of the older people I know, Salim, Earl, they're into advocacy in South Africa for type 1 diabetes. And they've been like in conferences, on symposiums, things like that. And you are someone that should be there. I don't know if you've been involved in any of those things, but you should be there because you have a voice that needs to be heard and you can control a crowd. Like in the beginning, when I asked you, do you need to write down a summary of who you are? You're like, you don't think who I am? You don't think I know who I am? Like, like you were ready to go. And from the beginning, like, I don't know if any nerves were there at all, but right now we're talking like I don't know you my whole life. Like we from the same block or something. Right?
Yeah. We do need to get together for real because I do think because I don't have like a big following, but the little that I have, people do really engage. People do DM me and I try to be of aid, but I'm not a health professional like that because I'm trying to explain to them that your diabetes is not going to be like mine. But I can be of aid in terms of, okay, if you're experiencing a hypo, this is what you can do. If your face is swollen, this is what you can do. Because I also know that for male and female, it's not the same.
Right. Hormones
I cannot advise a man on how to do anything with how to control their diabetes and stuff like that.
Right. But if you're, like we said, if you have that community, someone in that community you could reach out to, and they'll be able to assist that other person. That's why this community truly does matter, and our representation across all like ways of life, like whether it's race, culture, like it all matters and it all needs to be included in that community, because nobody, like if they find someone young, a 15, 16-year-old girl who's diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, if they go to you, you'll be able to help them resonate with living with this condition, because they may already have instilled in their mind, like, oh, it happens to old people who are unhealthy. But if they're able to sit down and have a conversation with you and see, like, oh, like she young, fly, like she got this swag about her and everything, like, yeah, that's what someone right now doesn't know it, but they need you. They need you in their lives, in their community, because you can change the trajectory of what it will be for them living with type 1 diabetes by you just showing face, you showing up and being unapologetically yourself.
I just remember some dude asked me if I ate too much sugar growing up. Like, where do these people get these things?
Media.
But I'm like, if I think as kids, everybody had a lot of sugar. Wouldn't we all be like this though?
People need to know, like, our condition has nothing to do with anything we did. We did not do this. We did not choose this. If we could take it away, we would take it away and throw it out in the trash and never ever go pick it back up. This is an autoimmune condition. There was a response to something that occurred, whether it was sickness, illness, trauma, and our body, for some reason, decided to fight against our immune system. And with that, our functioning isla beta pancreatic beta cells stopped working. And with that, it's like so much you got to break down. And with that, the hormone in our body that you also have, insulin, stopped producing. That insulin is used to break down carbohydrates and sugars into energy. I don't have that. So I have to manually take, like, it's so much you got to break down to them. And without this insulin, basically, I will die.
Basically. But a question I commonly get asked is, if I inherited this from I'm like, with type 1 diabetes that I know of, it's non-hereditary. So now there's a follow-up question of, now are my kids going to have diabetes? I'm like, I don't think so. Right. But it's possible, but I don't think so.
So type 1 diabetes wouldn't be considered hereditary, but autoimmune diseases are hereditary. And type 1 diabetes is one of many autoimmune diseases. Like, if you're the only person in your family with type 1 diabetes, you may have someone in your family with hypothyroidism, celiac, which is a gluten allergy, rheumatoid arthritis, vitiligo. Like, there's so many different autoimmune diseases and it's all comes from your body attacking itself. And if someone in your family has any of those autoimmune diseases, then someone else can also have them.
But like, would it be my fault?
It wouldn't be your fault. It wouldn't be, because you didn't give yourself type 1 diabetes. You didn't. You were a kid. Remember that. You were a kid. So nothing that happened or occurred to you in your young years was your fault. Even if you were an adult and diagnosed, you have to think about, if they were to have tested your autoantibodies for type 1 diabetes early on in your life, those autoantibodies would have been there. Like, nothing you did brought them on. No matter how old you are, no matter what type of lifestyle you live, God, like you said, chose his strongest warrior. You know, God gives us what you say? I think that God gives us hurdles that we can climb. Right?
Yeah.
Diabetes was just a hurdle. You've conquered it. And I hope that you can build this team so y'all can become world-class champions.
Yeah, I think I could do that. I know a lot of people who want to, that aren't even diabetic themselves, which I was very impressed with, that want to get the message out there, which is beautiful for me because they understand that they've seen their family members suffer because of the lack of knowledge.
We need allies and support. True allies are empathetic to the things we go through. So they know that me helping Nayo is out of love and support because I love and support Nayo, right?
Yeah.
And if I love and support her and she lives with type 1 diabetes, and I gotta love and support another person in the community that lives with it. Because I know that she didn't do this to herself. So I have to know that they didn't do this to themselves. As we do wrap up, or do you have any questions for me? Anything you want to know about diabetes on my end?
Like, oh yeah, for instance, on our side, people that can't like afford like proper health care, like insulin pens, they use vials. And I'm just like, is there not a way like that, let's say maybe if my medication I have surplus, how would I get to distributing that? Or is that even legal? Is that allowed?
Look, if you go to a store and you buy an item and it comes in a package, right? And it says no distribution.
Yeah.
If you have people that need part of that item and you have so much, are you going to think about that label that says no distribution?
No.
It's as simple as that. Insulin, we know is a need. If someone needs it, that means that their life is at risk without it. I build communities so that no one goes without. And I tell them, no one goes without insulin on my watch. How you put it out there to the public is your choice. But these communities that are built are more private, right? Like I think like 7 or 8 Instagram groups that I run. The largest one is for people of color with type 1 diabetes around the world. It's maxed out at 250 people. And everyone knows if someone needs insulin, someone needs supplies, I'm the guy because I will risk whatever it takes to make sure the next person can live. Like I'll post it in my story. I'll reach out to someone else I know in the community who does these things, or someone who said they had access to insulin or CGMs or whatever, and I'll make that connection. We got to connect these dots because everyone that lives with type 1 diabetes, there has been a point in time in their lives where they were not able to get the needed medications that they need to live and survive. So it's more in here, in your heart. If you know the expense of this medication, this insulin, and someone can't get it, do what you can. Does that help?
Yeah, I'll see. I mean, I know a couple of people that can be of aid. I just wanted to know what to do before I took any steps.
Yeah. I know different places it's different, but I know people. I just recorded with a young man from Uganda last week. And I recorded with a girl in Uganda last spring, Hamida. And during the pandemic, you think things like I know things are like can get crazy everywhere. I know how things are in South Africa right now. Uganda, which is considered still a third world country, um, during the pandemic, she will hop on her bike and trek miles away, tens of miles, to check on people who were type 1 diabetics and give them insulin because it's not readily available everywhere for everyone. And just knowing that story and that commitment, she's young in her 20s also. And now like they have this community of oh, it's a bunch of people. They call themselves T1D warriors. And they do whatever they can to help the next person out. And I know that no matter what, they're going to have each other's back. So it takes that support.
Yeah, I just need to get out of my shell a little bit, I guess.
You got it. I'm sure if I reach out to someone who's near you and they said they had insulin and I told them you needed it, they'd be like, that's nothing. I'll give it to her. So I will ask some of my friends in South Africa how things are with that distribution and exchange of hands when it comes to medical supplies, because I know you're not out of that shell yet. But I know they are, because they've been living with it for 20, 30 years, like some people. Melissa, I think she was diagnosed when she was 8. So she's been living with it 10 plus years. I can't remember. There's another young lady. Her name is like Nolando, something like that. And she's been living with it most of her life. She's like in her early 30s, I believe. But yeah, that community and that support will help you. As we do wrap up, I have to ask you a question that I ask all of my guests, because you were diagnosed 15 years young, not 15 years old. High school, unapologetically you. I can picture you probably at the locker with your friends, like playing around, joking, singing, talking about y'all little crushes and all of that stuff. I don't know what you had, like if you even had a plan in your head on what you wanted to be, like career wise. Did you at that time?
At that time, I just thought like I was business minded. I still am, but I thought at the time, you know what, I'm gonna do whatever I can at any cost to get where I need to be. That was the mindset I had.
Right.
And after diabetes hit me, I had to be strategic with a lot of things. So now you need to maneuver around how you do things now. But I still think I maintained the way I thought, because I still believe I can still fully achieve everything that I wanted at that time to date. If I work hard, because I will.
You can and you will. But I must ask you, because I've been in conversations, I've seen the research, the data behind these things, functional cures. I'm recording with a young lady. I can't remember where she's from in Africa, but she lives in the UK, and she works in diabetes research, type 1 research on finding cured. On March 31st, I'm recording with her. And I ask everyone this on the day. This is not an option. Just let you know that. On the day, Nayo, you find out that you've been fully cured of type 1 diabetes, that it is gone. There's no going back. It's not going to come back no matter what you do. We still are friends. We still have this community. We can do so much more now. We can go and help and aid other people with other chronic health conditions and whatnot. We can travel the world without our devices, our insulin, or having to worry about it. And everyone else wouldn't have to either. Like, diabetes is gone. On that day, you find out you no longer have type 1 diabetes, my friend Nayo. What do you do?
Like, first thing I do?
What do you do?
I don't know. I mean, thinking about the fact that it could happen, it's great. But now I went from being normal to being diabetic normal to back to being normal. I don't know. But it's an exciting thought. I'm not gonna lie. But I think not much would change. Like I said, this brought a lot of, it changed the whole perspective of how I view things. So I adopted a lot of positive things from the condition. I don't think not a lot would change, except I'll do stuff normal people do.
I knew you would answer it that way because you were diagnosed at 15 and diabetes helped you mature. It helped you grow into the person you are today. And like I said, through the duration of this conversation, you've been an advocate in every way. And I just think of, like, without diabetes, you would have so much more time on your hands to be able to do those things, to be able to focus on those things without having to take the breaks. You may be able to get things done in half the time that it normally or typically takes you, because you don't have to worry about this burden of diabetes popping up and telling you, drink some juice. Just get the juice box. Like, you don't have to worry about that. You'll be able to save money, save time, save energy. But still, in your mind, you know about diabetes, you know about the history of chronic health conditions, and you know about how you being an advocate can truly help others along their journey as it has helped you. You'll be able to do that unapologetically. Because I see it. My friend Nayo, I truly appreciate you for joining me on the Chronically Will podcast, where we have real conversations with community that need to be heard, because Nayo, you are someone that truly needs to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you.